This video is brought to you today by CuriosityStream, the best place on the internet to watch documentaries. Hi everybody, welcome to Aimee Music. Today I would like to show you how to play a really solid, simple walking bass line built on a little formula that I made up. I made it up when I was about 16 years old to teach to my brother because he wanted to be able to play some accompaniment for himself. And it worked. You know, I probably didn't really make it up, but it's my little formula, and I'm going to teach it to you today because it sounds hip. Do you remember my old video? It's a really old video recorded with my iPhone of Have You Met Miss Jones? Have you met old Jones? Well, someone said as we shook hands, he was just old Jones to me. I'm just sitting right here at my piano and I'm playing a walking bass line and singing the melody to Have You Met Miss Jones. And for some reason it resonated with people. It sounded all right. My walking bass line is a little more complicated there than what I'm going to show you today, but the path that I took to play that walking bass line starts with exactly what I'm going to show you today. It's a very simple formula. I've taught it to a lot of people, and it's facilitated a lot of people being able to just sit down and accompany themselves. I do have a whole series about accompanying yourself. It's another pretty old video, but it's solid. I think it holds up. This video hopefully is a little more of that, but in a nutshell. Let's get over to the piano and try it out. All right, since we started out talking about Have You Met Miss Jones, I'm going to use it to illustrate every point that I'm going to make. This video is broken up into chapters. The first thing I want to say is that you have to know your major scales. In order to do this, you have to be pretty familiar with your major scales, or at least how they're constructed. So if you need to, go back and watch my video about major scales. A little guideline that you want to stay between C2 and C4. So the second C on the keyboard and the fourth C on the keyboard when you're making these walking bass lines. Of course there are exceptions, but it's just a good sweet spot so that it doesn't sound too muddy and it doesn't get in the way of your right hand. You need to always be aware of that. When you see a chord that lasts for one bar, that means there's a bar and there's only one chord in it. In Have You Met Miss Jones, it's a C major for one bar. What you're going to do is you're going to play 1, 2, 3, leading tone. So you're going to play the first three notes in the major scale. 1, 2, 3. And then when I say leading tone, for my purposes today, what we're going to do is we're going to look at the next chord coming up. That's an A7. So we've taken up 3 quarter notes. All of our walking bass lines are going to be built on this quarter note, quarter note, quarter note, quarter note kind of feel, you know. That's how we walk a bass line. Quarter note, quarter note, quarter notes for the most part. So we're going to go quarter note, quarter note, quarter note, leading tone. And what the leading tone means is you take a look at where you're going. You're going to an A next. We've got one more quarter note left in this bar. We've played 1, 2, 3, and we've got 4 coming up. The leading tone means a half step below or a half step above where you're going. Either one, you get to choose. You just use your ears about what feels right to you. Could be this one. Could be this one. There will be different circumstances where you might like one or the other, and it's fine to choose either one. There also might be a circumstance where you don't like either one. You don't like the way they sound. And if that's the case, it's okay to just go 1, 2, 3, 3, and then hit the next one. I don't like to do that very often, but it can solve a problem once in a while if you just find that you don't like the way that either of these sound. But that's the main rule. 1, 2, 3, leading tone. Now you get to your next chord. It's an A7. It lasts for a bar. So you're going to do the same thing. You're going to think in the key of A now. You think about your A major scale and you're going to play 1, 2, 3. Now, you'll find that your leading tone to the next chord is this note. So D is your next chord. You're already on the leading tone. That's going to happen kind of often. That's why I give you this upper tone option. You can come the half step above and then hit it, or you can hit it twice. Either one is okay. All right, something's going to start happening right here. I want you to notice. We've started on C. We've made our way all the way up to this D. The next chord is D minor. So we're going to play the 1, 2, and flat 3. When it's a minor chord, we can't play the major third in the key of D. We have to play the minor third. We're going to go 1, 2, 3. G's coming up. We need a leading tone. Let's choose the upper one, half step above. But look how high we are. We're just about to approach this high limit that I gave you. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3 of G7. But now, since we're getting so high, our fourth note in the bar needs to be an octave lower than we've been going. So the next leading tone we need to do needs to be to an E minor chord. But we're not going to pass the C. We're not going to go this high. So what we're going to do is we're going to drop an octave. And there we go. We were half a step below E, and then we're on E. And we're still getting too high. So now we're going to play the 1, 2, flat 3 in E minor. I'm going to drop again. This time let's go below where we're going, so the half step below leading tone to A. And now we're back in the sweet spot. Every time you can do it, you need to drop an octave. You need to just continually think, it's time to drop. It's time to drop in order to stay in this sweet spot. Next thing to cover, when your chord only lasts half a bar. This will happen in the bridge of Have You Met Miss Jones? All right, so let's start there with our F major chord. We're going to do 1, 2, 3 leading tone because the F major lasts for an entire bar. 1, 2, 3 leading tone to E flat. So let's do a D, right? We could do either one of these. Let's just choose D. Now, here's our E flat. When you have two chords in one bar, so that means that each chord takes up half of the bar, you only have half the time to spend there. That means all you're going to do is hit the root or the 1 and then hit the leading tone of the next chord. So we're going to go 1 leading tone, 1 leading tone. E flat is going to A flat, and since we're getting too high, again, I'm going to drop it. So I'm going to say half step above A flat, and we'll hit the A, and then we'll go to A flat, then we'll do a half step below D flat and get there so that this bar looks like. And now we're on D flat, so we do 1, 2, 3, leading tone. And then here's B, we do a leading tone right away to get to E, and a leading tone right away to get to A. Does that make sense? So when the chord lasts a bar, 1, 2, 3 leading tone. When the chord lasts half a bar, 1 leading tone, 1 leading tone. That's going to get you through this entire song. But there's another situation that might happen. Sometimes you might run into a chord that lasts for 2 bars. If that happens, here's my formula. Let's pretend that it's C major for 2 bars. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 5, 1, 2, 3 leading tone. So let's pretend that it's C major for 2 bars and then A7 for a bar. We'll go 1, 2, 3, 5, 1, 2, 3 leading tone to A. Like that. All right. If the chord happens to last longer than 2 bars, you can just do 1, 2, 3, 5 the whole time. It'll work. It gets boring. But today, we're a little bit boring. Telling you though, this boring stuff is all you need for a while. And once it's in your ears, you'll be able to do more variations. I'm going to show you one variation today. You know how I talked about when you get too high, you need to drop. There's a fun way to drop, a hip way to drop, and I'm going to call it the Arpeggio triplet drop. We'll pretend like we've got a bar of D minor, a bar of G7, and a bar, maybe 2 bars of C major. All right, so a bar here, 2 bars here. And we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, leading tone to get to G, right? And then here, we're getting too high again. We're gonna go G, 2, 3, leading tone, 2, 3. Now, maybe we'll hit this one again, but then when we get to this C, we're up at the top of the range here. This is how we can get back down to sound kind of hip, like I said. We can go. So we take the octave, I'll call it 8, because we go 8, 5, 3, 1, and we do triplet 1. So this triplet here takes up the first beat. Then my formula is to just hit the 5 and then the leading tone to where you're going next. Maybe it's A7. So we're 1, 2, 3, triplet 1, 5, leading tone A, like that. That's a good spot right at the beginning. So we're coming up on A7. We can hit this one again because it's both the third of A and it's the leading tone to D minor. Here we go. We play the arpeggio down the chord that's coming up. So it's D minor coming up. So we're going to do 8, 5, 3, 1. And it's a flat 3 in this case because we're on D minor. Then up to the 5. Hit the leading tone of the next place we're going, which is G. So here, and then we can do 1, 2, 3, leading tone. But anyway, there's another case for you. Have you met Miss Jones? Sounds good, right? Someone said as we shook hands, he was just old Jones to me. There's the first little bit for you. Go play with it. Any song that you open up to, any jazz standard, this formula is going to work for you. Guarantee it. This video is brought to you by my streaming service Nebula and CuriosityStream, where you can watch extended cuts of my videos and bonus materials, plus videos of mine that you will only find on Nebula, like the recent video I made about the Beach Boys song Surf's Up and the power of the slash chord. And it's not just my exclusive and bonus content that you'll get when you sign up for Nebula. You'll also get exclusive and bonus content from some of your very favorite creators, like Adam Neely, 12-Tone Music, Mary Spender,
I want to take you in.
I've been so happy to be part of the streaming service Nebula. Nebula was built by creators like me, and it's a creator-owned platform, and a place where I feel really comfortable putting extra content like my Surf's Up video that I'm really passionate about. The hour was strike, and here we are with what I'm just going to call Brian Wilson's favorite chord, the major chord with the 5 in the bottom. I'm really excited to be sponsored by CuriosityStream, which is the best place on the internet to watch thousands of documentaries. And when you sign up using the code in the description of this video, you also get my streaming service Nebula. And right now there's an exclusive deal. Anyone that signs up using my code will get 42% off the annual price. That's $8.40 for the entire year. As long as you stay subscribed to CuriosityStream, Nebula will come with it. Thanks everybody for hanging out today. Go have a great time with this walking bass line. If you use it, let me know. Tag me on Instagram. I would love to see you putting this into practice. I'll see you next time on Aimee Nolte Music.